Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Namaskar. Good morning, everyone. Namaskar. This is Suraj Singh speaking from Bharat India this day, February 5th, 2022, 5:45 a.m. लास्ट वीडियो ब्रोक. नमस्कार मैं सबको. सूरज सिंह सिविल इंजीनियर भारत इंडिया से बोल रहा हूँ. आज 5 फरवरी 2022 सुबह के 5:46. पिछला वीडियो टूट गया, आपको जब मालूम है, और इसलिए मैं दोबारा नेक्स्ट दे रहा हूँ. छोटा सा वीडियो होगा. माई नेम प्लेट विथ माई email ID. And this is my certification here, professional engineer, and this is your quality file which I was talking about as my coordination file was talking about on this. Was talking about on this quality issues, coordination engineering. Was talking about in this case, and I was on point number 25. As I gone there, unfortunately video broke and टूट गया वीडियो. जो होता है बार बार, क्या करें, हाथ में नहीं है कुछ. लेकिन कोई बात नहीं है, टूटेगा तो संभालेंगे. कहते हैं ना, if you break we'll make it. It's the engineer. Okay, you broke me, no problem. Signals did not help me, and that's why we say quality is an issue. Quality is an issue, and coordination is an issue in our world, everywhere. And I'm not challenging anything except to improve. Means you have to improve yourself, and that's what civil engineer does. Civil engineer means improver. Civil engineer is a developer, and civil engineer has to digest all weather conditions. So we say we basics of civil engineering is, जो सिविल इंजीनियर होता है वो सिखाता है एक्चुअली, क्योंकि वो सीखा होता है. थोड़ी हिंदी बोल रहा हूँ, माफ़ करना, क्षमा चाहता हूँ, क्योंकि हिंदी भी बोलना ज़रूरी है. मोहनदास मदानी जो हम सिविल इंजीनियर को कहते हैं अरबी में, सिविल इंजीनियर जो एक रेगिस्तान को एक सिटी में कन्वर्ट कर देता है. सिविल इंजीनियर जो एक दरिया को बंद करके वहाँ मकान बना देता है. नदी को बंद करके, समुद्र को बंद करके उस हिस्से में मकान बना देता है. एग्जाम्पल मैं दे देता हूँ आपको. दोहा एयरपोर्ट जो रिक्लेम किया गया समुद्र का एरिया, और वहाँ एयरपोर्ट बना. बहुत जगह विश्व में ऐसी हैं जहाँ ऐसा होता है. डेवलप करना, विकास करना, मकान बनाना, और कुछ बनाना, सड़क बनाना, एयरपोर्ट बनाना, प्लांट्स फैसिलिटी का निर्माण करना, ये सब सिविल इंजीनियरिंग में आता है. और मैं शायद, छोड़िए पैसा कितना आता है, बात पैसे की नहीं है, बात आपकी सहयोग की है कि आप कितना कंट्रीब्यूट करते हैं इस विश्व में, भगवान के बनाए हुए इस ऑपरेशनल यूनिट में. आप कह सकते हैं कि ये विश्व, ये ज़मीन एक भगवान का यूनिट है. आई कैन से विद कॉन्फिडेंस and with claim, with authority, that world in which we are living, it's called earth, and this earth is a plant given to us by us, means whoever is practically or at present living or at whatever time lives are here on this earth. That is an operator, that's an employee, a personal deployed by God to operate this unit. That unit is called planet of solar system, one planet of solar system. You have to understand this fact before jumping onto quality and coordination. I'm just trying to let you know what I think about this. मैं क्या सोचता हूँ इसके बारे में, मेरा मस्तिष्क क्या कहता है, क्या सोचना चाहिए. मैं मन की बात नहीं, मैं मस्तिष्क की कर रहा हूँ. हमको सोचना तो मस्तिष्क से ही पड़ेगा, हम मन की कितनी भी बातें करते रहें. और जो व्यक्ति मस्तिष्क से सोचता है वो आगे चलता है. याद रख लेना, गलती भी अगर कर देगा तो सही भी कर सकता है. और जो एक बार माइंड यूज़ करे, मस्तिष्क यूज़ करे और करता जाए, वो व्यक्ति इतना आगे निकल जाता है इस ज़िंदगी में, इस तनाव भरी ज़िंदगी में, इस पैसे की भूख की ज़िंदगी में. लेकिन उसका मस्तिष्क जब इतना मजबूत हो जाता है तो उसकी भूख भी मस्तिष्क के काम की लगती है, खाने के काम की नहीं. वो माइंड यूज़ करने वाला व्यक्ति की कोई लिमिट नहीं होती, क्योंकि माइंड वही यूज़ कर सकता है जिसके माइंड में कुछ डाला गया हो, जिसके माइंड को प्रोग्राम किया गया हो, या उसने खुद ही उसको प्रोग्राम को संभाला हो, कुछ शिक्षा के बाद, कुछ पढ़ाई के बाद, कुछ एजुकेशन के बाद. ए पर्सन हू यूजेस माइंड, I am just trying to bring mind into this, because for me mind dominates whole world. God is a mind. To be very frank, I consider God a mind, because mind is direct product by God. God's mind is my mind. God stays in my mind. I feel like that. And I assume that. You can also assume, because this is not illegal and this is not unethical. God stays in my mind. If I assume, I think that, certainly God would be there. And that's my experience. If you keep God in heart, it can also stay there. But God prefers mind, because God is mind itself. इस बात को हम समझ लें. If I understand this point, then problem of quality and problem of coordination become very easy to solve. Both problems become very easy to solve, and you get information with you. This body is a mechanism created by God, not by no one else. God is responsible for every act of this body, every part of this body. If God did not give me this body, then I won't be here to have a word with you. To deliberate, though it's one way, but deliberation is not easy. I'm just thinking of something and talking to you. This stage is very difficult, and it comes only by intensive showering of blessings from that power is called God. Whatever name you take it, I'm not interested in that. My God is my power. My God is my wealth. My God is my journey. My God is my work. My God is my prayer. My work is my prayer. My work for God, by instruction of God, for submission to God, for scrutiny by God, for help by God. Though may be paid by someone else, my employer may be different physically, but ultimately it is work on this project earth. You can say earth is my project, and when earth is my project, this means this ball of continental part, ball of solid and water, plus this ball around that ball, that is air space ball, both combined together can be defined as earth. We call in geology this part of solid and water as lithosphere, and this external sphere which is constituent, which constitutes air and gases, is called aerospace, aerosphere. So my work is that project. This ball, this earth, is moving, is working in universal space, and particularly solar system space, our solar system. I am saying our because at this moment I am using this solar system in this life, and maybe pre this life where I was, I am not sure. And what shall happen post my leaving this body, I don't know. I'm just converting, you think so? No, I'm not diverting from subject. I'm just trying to refer it because something comes to my mind when I switch to it, and I got something that's very important. We have to think of that power which works this moment or other moment with me and with you as well. That power opens its switch, transmits knowledge to me, or you can say it sends to me that program which is requested or which is required according to its own arrangement, because that God is inclined to use me, and that's my, that's my luck. You can say if God tries to use me, it's my, indirectly God blesses me. I am trying to use my medium. You can represent me to this extent. Is that not enough? मैं आपको इस काम के लिए उत्तरदायी देता हूँ. ये निधि मैं आपको देता हूँ इस इंफॉर्मेशन के रूप में, इस सूचना के रूप में. आप चाहिए और उसको समझाइए या कीजिए. अब आप सोचिए, मैं कह रहा हूँ कि अर्थ एक प्रोजेक्ट है, तो आप मानेंगे इस बात को? आप नहीं मानेंगे, लेकिन सच्चाई तो यही है. अर्थ एक प्रोजेक्ट है. हम इस प्रोजेक्ट के ऊपर रिसोर्स हैं, ह्यूमन रिसोर्स हैं, व्यक्ति रिसोर्स हैं, हमको कुछ सिखाया गया है। ये हमने एक दूसरे को नहीं सिखाया, ये भगवान ने सिखाया है, क्योंकि ये सीखने वाली मशीन भी तो भगवान ने बनाई है। हम ये नहीं कहेंगे कैसे बनाई है, क्योंकि हमारा वो विशेष टाइम नहीं है, लेकिन भगवान ने तो बनाई है। इसीलिए भगवान जिस तरह कोऑर्डिनेट करता है हमको वो भी समझना होगा, और भगवान किस तरह से कम्युनिकेट करता है वो भी समझना होगा, वो किस तरह से क्वालिटी की वैल्यू देता है वो भी समझना होगा। वी हैव टू रियलाइज एंड अंडरस्टैंड ऑल दिस पॉइंट्स, हाउ डज दैट इंस्टीट्यूशन ऑफ गॉड वर्क्स इन कोऑर्डिनेशन and with quality, and of course uses communication. These requirements, these points and these necessities must be understood if we want to work very well, and we want to self-apply those principles which God might have taken, and God gives us that knowledge. And that knowledge is given through sciences and through engineering. That's important. That knowledge is given through medical science, that's also important. Sciences never go waste and engineering never go waste, because this both deals with energies, and particularly engineering deals with energies in body. We call that energy invisible. We call that energy by name soul. That is only named, but we don't understand meaning of that. I don't want to give what our gurus say, I don't call them guru. You are your own guru. Somebody asks me sometimes, you should have guru. To do something, okay, about which guru, define guru, right? You have to define. What science says, what engineering says. If you claim something, you define it. You give evidence that it exists. Somebody can ask me, where is God's evidence? Yes, no physical evidence. God has implication evidence. God has given us powerful evidence. First evidence is that I am living is not an evidence. I have been living, you have been living, we all are living. You don't think it's an evidence of God. Who manufactured me? Did you? Or someone else? It is God that manufactured me. God is operating on me, which you can't understand, because you can't touch me. You can touch my body, but you cannot touch my soul. And when my soul is in operation, you cannot touch my body also. Just like an electrical system, electrical supply system. You say it's working. Can you see electrical voltage flow? You cannot see. Yes, you can touch it and you can get short circuit. You can get caught. Same thing applies here. We can confirm electricity is working, electric supply is working by working operations of appliance, or by some other way. This is working. Same thing, this electrical powerhouse, and that powerhouse is linked to main body, and that powerhouse is so strong, my body is not burned, because my body becomes appliance. So I am an appliance. Yes, I am an appliance. I have to realize this part. And that appliance is in getting its voltage from main distribution board or sub-main distribution board that's installed somewhere in environment or somewhere in God's control, which gives me energy and which receives load from main powerhouse of God. So try that. Isn't that God not my powerhouse? Yes, it is powerhouse. Sun is a powerhouse. My mind is a powerhouse. I'm getting energies from all resources. This point, if engineer understands, engineer remains brilliant one, because in all acts that engineer would think that way. I'm not producing anything, I'm using it. I did not produce any earth, I'm using earth. I did not produce any wealth in earth, I'm using that. Everyone uses it. I use air, is that not wealth of earth? I use sun rays, is that not wealth of planet, solar system? I use water, is that not part of God? I use crops, is that not part of part of God-given basic. And I get children, I get family, I get this and that. So many ins and outs there. Ultimately, what is required? Question remains same. Required is service. What do you serve for this earth? Or you can say, what do you serve for God? We serve for God by serving society, by serving unknown or known, doesn't matter. So I come to point 25 here because of this background. That says, in fact, coordination at higher level of responsibility is voluminous task which work imports working knowledge of various engineering branches and additional in-depth knowledge of one's own engineering discipline. Without knowledge, without responsibility, without voluminous task, without knowledge of various engineering branches and in-depth knowledge conduct in engineering discipline, we cannot do anything. We should realize this fact, we should know this fact, and we know this fact. Whatever function you have seen in life, forget your body. If you want to use some appliance, that appliance is also multi-use, of course, but it's also composed of multi-material as well as its services are also multi-materials. We study all this in engineering. Yes, we study what is product, what are its property, how it's composed of, all like that we do. That's only meant for a purpose that you should do this in your life as well. And when we say career involved is concerned, career requires all that. And it's in our hands to upgrade ourselves. Nobody will upgrade us. And that's what we say. We have to be very good in understanding world, professional world, non-professional world. We cannot generalize everything in sciences, in engineering, in medical. Generalization exists, but specialization also exists, and super specialization to access. It depends on knowledge, depends on integrity, depends on how good you work. All these points come very importantly. Why saying this point 25, which is coordination file? In fact, a coordination at higher level of responsibility is voluminous task which imports working knowledge of various engineering branches and additional in-depth knowledge of one's own engineering discipline. कितना भी आप कर लीजिए, कितने भी जिम्मेदारी ले लीजिए ऊंची, लेकिन काम तो आपको बहुत करना पड़ेगा, वॉल्यूमिनस टास्क करना पड़ेगा. इससे आप बच नहीं सकते. खाली बातें करने से नहीं होगा, करने से होगा. मेरा थोड़ा फर्क आ जाता है इस बात पे जब लोग कहते हैं बहुत बातें करते हैं. मैं बातें नहीं कर रहा, मैं तो समझाने की कोशिश कर रहा हूँ. बातें तो आपको करनी, तो कह रहा हूँ, मैं तो समझा रहा हूँ. इस पॉइंट पे ये बैठा है. मैं ये नहीं कह रहा आपके मान लीजिए. आई एम नॉट सेइंग यू जस्ट टेक व्हाट आई एम सेइंग. यू ट्राई योरसेल्फ. Can you digest it? Can you point out? Can you plan it? Can you apply it? Means, and even if there you get some mistake, can you correct it and remedy it? These are very important points in our life. We should respect them. And that's what we have learned from nature, learned from God. God doesn't have any interest in showing its form, showing its power, because God knows human are not that powerful who can change nature. Everybody knows. But still we boast. So we can say in point 25 again, in fact, coordination at high level of responsibility is voluminous task which imports working knowledge of various engineering branches and additional in-depth knowledge of one's own engineering discipline. Means you have to know, first of all, your engineering knowledge, your own branch of engineering knowledge. And once you know that, of course, maybe you're not perfect, but you know title-wise. It goes to those who are in such institutions to try to teach students. And maybe some people respect them, or so everybody consumes their products. The consumption is one part, its making is another part. That's right, we can do that. Then say it's also true that in current scenario, current engineering and advanced project, some project scenario, just depending on certain proclaimed of software may not be absolutely assistive to automatically resolve details, conflict among various disciplines, and therefore no blind eye can be allowed to trust outcomes of various conflicting details. I again read this because it's very significant, though small para. That's also true that in current scenario, in advanced project scenario, just depending on certain proclaimed software may not be absolutely assistive to automatically resolve details, conflict among various disciplines, and therefore no blind eyes can be allowed to trust outcome of various conflicting details. ये सत्य है कि जो चल रहा है आज के समय में, अभियांत्रिकी का काम, इंजीनियरिंग का काम, आगे बढ़े हुए प्रोजेक्ट बनाने का काम, ऐसा सिनारियो से सीन जिसमें आप ये नहीं कह सकते कि हमें इस सॉफ्टवेयर पे काम करना है, इसको यूज़ करना है, ये पूरा सहायता देगा आपकी, ऐसा नहीं होगा, या आपके सारे काम को स्वयं सॉल्व कर देगा, ऐसा भी नहीं होगा। ऐसा लगता है कहने में ये सब कुछ कर देता है, कहते रहे। हर इंजीनियरिंग के वर्क में, हर इंजीनियरिंग के डिसिप्लिन में ऐसा होता है। ऑटोमेटिज्म को चाहिए, कोई नहीं चाहते कि अंधों से काम कराया जाए। गॉट माई पॉइंट? अंधा मीन्स ब्लाइंड, बधिर या जो भी कहें आप उसको, हम लोग आम भाषा में बात कर रहे हैं। Therefore, no blind eyes can be allowed to trust outcome of varying conflicting details. हम जो गलतियाँ हमको दिखती हैं, मान लीजिए ड्राइंग्स में, कहीं और इंजीनियरिंग के प्रोजेक्ट पे, उन गलतियों को हम आंख बंद करके स्वीकार भी नहीं कर सकते। उनको समझाना पड़ेगा, उनको ठीक करना पड़ेगा, लाना पड़ेगा साथ में, और ये होता है, इसको बड़ी बात नहीं है। ये भी प्रोफेशन का एक पार्ट है, एक हिस्सा है। अगर हम इस बात को नहीं समझते, हम किसी बात को नहीं समझते। आपको आंख बंद करके ना काम करना है, ना आंख बंद करके, दिमाग बंद करके विश्वास करना है, क्योंकि बिना सही समझे काम करना इंजीनियरिंग नहीं होता, और बिना आंख बंद करके बैठना या सोते रहने से सोचना सब ठीक हो जाएगा, वो भी नहीं होता। Therefore, don't expect it to be okay automatically. You need not worry about that, but that shall not happen, because it is factual educational world, actual engineering world. As many items on various components of whatever project do invite invitation, addition, or augmented level of coordination for all such designs and respective detailing applications on site work depends on final results. Final details, which we sometimes name or entitle current documents under proposal and then approval as such, working drawings and also shop drawings and finals, to cover all disciplines in a unified approach, coordination drawings. Next is such activities to produce coordination drawings on various areas of project components do cause professional requirements from various disciplines, and where coordinator has to apply mind, fully immersed in an imaginative contemporary So I say, I repeat, I missed something I somewhere. Such activities to produce coordination drawings on various areas of project components do cause professional requirements from various disciplines, and where administrator, I'm sorry, where disciplines and where coordinator sorry, has to apply mindfully, immersed in imaginative contemporary ocean of vistas. So I say such activities to produce coordination drawings on various areas of project components do cause professional requirements from various disciplines, and where a coordinator has to apply mindfully immersed in imaginative, contemporary ocean of details, keeping abreast applicable to specifications and commercial details, or as approved as good. We can see then on next one, that is, you may say, keeping abreast applicable specifications and contract related documents, and of course contractual complexities that make entire situation little more complex, and in certain cases a major overhaul requires to be effected. So para says, it says, if I repeat just because this is also a little complex paragraph, such activities to produce coordination drawings on various areas of project components do cause professional requirements from various disciplines, or do require input from various professional disciplines, and where role of coordinator has to apply. Role of coordinator has to apply mindfully immersed in an imaginative contemporary ocean of details, keeping abreast applicable specifications and contract related documents, and of course contractual complexities that make entire situation little more complex, and in certain cases a major ओवरहॉल रिक्वायर्स टू बी अफेक्टेड. जो भी काम करने किसी भी हमको ज़रूरत पड़ेगी कौन उसकी ड्राइंग बनाने की, कोऑर्डिनेशन ड्राइंग जिसको कहते हैं, खाली एक डिसिप्लिन से काम नहीं चलेगा. किसी ने बताया जी ऐसा कर दीजिए और आप स्लैब डाल दीजिए, ऐसा नहीं होता है. आपको कोऑर्डिनेशन तालमेल तो बनाना पड़ेगा उसकी, या आपको कौन सा पेज यूज़ करना है वो देखना पड़ेगा, और उसको प्रिंट आउट निकाल के आपको इसमें लगाना होगा, अगर आपको इंटरेस्ट है तो. इंटरेस्ट नहीं है तो खेल भी नहीं करिएगा. So we now go to next para 29, which is, there are so many paragraphs as such. I try to write records for in the last 2 or 3 days for sharing with you my experience, and that's the only reason that I'm trying to share with you what is in my mind. It may be good, it may be bad, you have to decide yourself. Just trying to give my learned experience through certain good persons of this world. It's really disappointing to note that coordination preference has been found missing among engineers at beginning of professional career. दुख होता है जान के, डिसअपॉइंटमेंट मिलती है ये देखकर, ये लिखकर कि प्रेफरेंस ही नहीं है, कोऑर्डिनेशन में प्रेफरेंस में नहीं है. It's not preferred means it's really disappointing to me, to everyone, that coordination is not preferred, and this why it's found missing. Coordination is missing. It's missing among engineers at beginning of professional career. When one tries or opt to specialize just Thus, on its own discipline, when one tries or opt to specialize just on its own discipline, even discarding its own branch, related other subjects. I would say it's really disappointing to note that coordination preference has been found missing among engineers at beginning of professional career. When one tries or opts to specialize just on its own discipline, even even when discarding its its own branch related other subjects. Of course, necessary for professional to be for sure attain at some specialization level, but simultaneously must move on parallel tracks with remaining disciplines and certainly try to join other engineering branches overlapping. Here in the stage of conferring, I shall like to infer with entitled terms such as specialist engineers, managers, and organization as well. It's also admissible that every professional engineer must have associated certain ambition to achieve and to reach certain goal in professional world. But doesn't mean that such professionals shall have to leave all other axes that apply within this syllabus. Apply within profession for cohesive working. Focus should be where I'm talking is focus. Focus should not find any final stop, but it should continue. But the continuation of specialization and then additional working specialization as major requirements in engineering profession. Because engineering cannot be replaced or overtaken by any other specialization. Any other specialization can say I say again, it's very important point we have to consider. Focus should not find any final stop, but continuation of specialization and then additional working specialization as major requirements in engineering profession, because engineering cannot be replaced or overtaken by any other non-engineering professional. One should consider positively that management can be replaced by professional engineer. In that case, it's not management, it's overhaul. We can start management can be replaced by professional engineers, whereas it's vice versa, does not apply. Howsoever one may try, all those managers, all those, I should say organizers rather, all those managers, organizers who try to dominate professionals or project management procedures have never succeeded to be professional. So we have to concentrate on such issues as number 35 now reach. All those managers or organizers who try to dominate professionals or project management have never succeeded with having total reliance on professional engineers. For engineering details applicable on projects cannot be learned just by going through certain baseless curriculum. All those managers who try to nominate professionals, management organization have never succeeded with having a total reliance on professional engineers. For engineering details, applicable on projects cannot be learned just by going through certain baseless curriculum, which is now relation to current advancement in field of engineering. And coordination engineering amounts to such physically invisible fundamental domain which requires perfect detailing engineering knowledge and thorough knowledge or specialized practical experience, or else no professional can get work delivered. No work can be completed. Or so I saying no work can be completed in modernized project without impetus from coordination engineering, which is a combination of all involved prime domains. So we have to keep this point in mind that coordination means interconnectivity of various disciplines and also various branches of engineering. And we cannot call work is originally complete because original work was very brief, which had to complete itself. Means best suited for such type of professional interactive engineering are all those experienced professional engineering organizers who have invested their practice on every such activity in addition to respective expertise. Because best suited for such type of professional interactive engineering are all those experienced professional engineering organizers who have invested in development projects. Thus, I say that best suited for such type of professional interactive engineering are all those experienced professional engineering organizers who have invested their practice on every such invested practice on every such activity in addition to respective experience. So I say in 39 here. In fact, you can say currently coordination is like a super domain for which an ordinary educated engineer cannot best suit in or fit in. But if one has got multi-level experience, can perform such tasks is efficiently. So this we have to decide. It's not only you, everyone. Everyone must decide this. And what is question para is, in fact, currently coordination is like a super domain for which an ordinary educated engineer cannot best suit in. But if one has got multi-level experience in engineering and construction, can perform such tasks efficiently, and we don't need just to, you can say boxes. We want details of that. We want complete filled box with educated people, experienced people of project related issues. To be very frank in stating definition of coordination in a nutshell, definition of coordination in a nutshell, it can be acceptable to describe an engineer. It can be acceptable to describe an engineer who can procure all related professionals belonging respectively, you can say, belonging respective individual discipline on to a firm and final agreement on whatever involved project component or final or component, I can say, and whatever activity applicable on a set of combination of all architectural, structural and services drawings. Actually, so we can say that way. To be very frank in stating definition of coordination in a nutshell, it can be acceptable to describe an engineer who can procure all related professionals belonging respective individual discipline on to a firm and final agreement on whatever involved project component or components. So we can see this very easily here. We can move further on this multi-level discipline on to form and final agreement on whatever involved project component or components and whatever activity applicable on a set of combination of all architectural, structural and services drawings free from every clash, or it may be named coordinated engineering, coordinated drawing for all practical virtual So we can move forward on this if you can consider that final agreement on whatever individual involved project component or components of whatever activity applicable on a set of combination of all electrical, structural and services drawings from every clash, or it may be named coordinated drawing for all practical working purposes. We can, this one is not very specific. It's not very specific that coordination is a factor only in engineering. It's also pointed to understand. It's not very specific that coordination is affected only in engineering, but also applicable elsewhere in other professions as well as in administration, and it further be carried forward to work of government all over world. It's often reported that many schemes could not take off even at budget stage, and also budget at initiation stage, post budget at initiation stage, because of lack of required information or because of non-availability of capable procure, who could procure, not cold, this is error. I'm sorry for that in this line. Who could actually, COULD, not cold, procure or import or forced to join all respective personnel in one page. Consequence in case of failure. Consequence in case of failure leads to prorogation of all such projects for longer duration, resulting budget cost dissolution, or number of so it's nowhere in the entire world we can find capable ministers who may be able to lead ministries in such a way that works move according to required degree of coordination mechanism. That's an important point to note. Nowhere in their world we can find capable ministers who may be able to lead ministries in such a way that works move according to required degree of coordination mechanism. कोऑर्डिनेशन को अगर राजनीति वाले या गवर्नमेंट वाले समझते अच्छी तरह से कि कोऑर्डिनेशन किसे कहते हैं, तो शायद सिचुएशन कुछ और होती। हर जगह कुछ होंगे, मैं ये नहीं कह रहा कि सारे, लेकिन कुछ तो होते हैं एक दो जगह, लेकिन उनको पूछता कौन है, बात तो वहीं आ जाती है। दुनिया में सब जगह कही जाए तो संचार के समन्वय की व्यवस्था को बनाने की, समझाने की, संभालने की कमी है सब जगह। Foregoing explanations have been charted out for purpose of conducting necessary brainstorming. Foregoing explanations have been charted out for purpose of conducting necessary brainstorming that may be called for by all students. All students can say, you may say this way or other way. Foregoing explanations have been charted out for purpose of conducting necessary brainstorming that may be called for while other contemplating on this essential purpose. Because project means hostile, you can say, or you may call it different way, that I repeat, this explanation has been charted out for purpose of conducting necessary brainstorming that may be called by all others with contemplating on this issue, essential purpose, because project means absolute and optimum use of funds, and not to waste funds for futile results. But we can not expect non-professionals to realize these facts while handling engineering projects. While handling engineering projects, every engineer has to rely on certain specific disciplines or branches of various engineering disciplines. We have at least 15 branches of gross engineering and glass food. Okay, now if I say with confidence and with reference about engineering branches, which says while handling engineering projects, every engineer has to rely on certain specific disciplines or branches of various engineering disciplines. We have at least 15 branches in engineering, or you can say gross engineering, building engineering, that is gross engineering and building engineering, architectural engineers or civil engineers, or structural engineers, or electromechanical engineers, security related engineers, information technology engineers, etc. I say are required to work in team structure to produce design details as well as to carry out execution work at supervision level as well as at construction lead. So we can say that, right? It's very important, required to work in team structure to produce designs, details as so I say are required to work in team structure to produce designs, details as well as to carry out execution of work at supervision level as well as construction levels. It's also said that add on this even on buildings we do not all complexities. We don't all we have all complexities as noticed on plants, facilities, and or chemical processing project, which are spread in square miles and may consume many years for each project. This point, on such projects there can be fixed no limits except to make sure that industry keeps So green projects now you can say are one, but once green attains first success on it, then it becomes brown for next, either augmentation of its insurance or cooperating resources. Let's say there is some disturbance. I have a tractor, no problem, let it go. So you can say, but one green attains first success on it, then becomes brown for next, either augmentation or its capacity potential or for enhancing certain standards. In fact, you can say, in fact, you may say, in fact, civil engineer with structural engineer and with support of all services engineers, projects can be handled with success provided alliance works professionally, respecting and honoring each other, project design and executive member complying with project coordination and more specifically quality requirement. Important priorities for everybody. It says something we have to understand that in fact, architect or architectural engineer may call it better. Civil engineer, along with structural engineer and support of all services engineer, projects can be handled with success provided alliance works professionally, respecting and honoring each other, project design and executive member, complying with project coordination and more specifically quality requirement. When it is stated about quality requirement, which indicates that quality must be used for purpose of conducting coordination and discipline execution in each and every respect. Unfortunately, quality requirement has been misled and its failure has been happening by misunderstanding this discipline in its entirety. Again, I repeat, it is when it is stated that quality requirement, which indicates that quality must be used for purpose of conducting coordination and discipline execution in each and every respect. Unfortunately, quality requirement has been misled and its failure has been happening by misunderstanding this discipline in its entirety. Quality works in each and every discipline in life as well as in every profession. Every profession, you may say, whereas engineering is no different. Quality must be used as a requirement in all works, including world of quality and coordination. It's very important point for you to understand. Factually speaking, individual's quality is known by its professional personality, efficiency achieved about degree of work or production quality one possesses, and then further assessment can be calculated or charted out to know its level of work and specifically coordination competency attained by individual professional. For that time, we'll be back, no problem. Okay. Maybe by that time it goes away. Could be. about this talk on coordination, and I think it's got some status in this at this moment. And what you say that now it's time to go better. We'll take up remaining points next time. So we are gone to point number 50. Let's say 53. Reliable coordination. It's very important. बन जाएगी. बात बन जाएगी. So we close it now. I think it's just little entertainment we did on this, and I think that's okay. That's fine, and that's it.